What's going on YouTube? It's Jason again with JJ Drones, and as you can see, we are back on the road and we are driving again. We're in Southern California, and right now the way that we're supposed to go up to pick up our next load is right in the middle of a bunch of fires and a bunch of wind, and that doesn't sound like fun. So I thought we'll take this opportunity to make a video, so let's get into it. Okay guys, so I thought this would be the perfect time to do training on how to get around like natural disasters and stuff like that. So we're going to go to the California 511. And if you look on where we're at, we're down here in San Clemente, and we have to go up to Hilmar, California. So normally all you have to do is jump onto the I-5 and head north until you got over the Grapevine, get onto the 99, and then everything is good. Well, the problem is that in I do believe in the Santa Clarita area there's a fire, so we don't want to get into that. So we're gonna go down here to San Clemente, and it looks like it's good all the way up until we get to the greater LA area. Now there are some closures here. Click on that one and it looks like we can't click on any of these, but I can see some closures. You obviously can't get into the areas where there are fires, and then I know that there's also strong winds, but it looks like once we get out of the LA area, it looks green all the way up past where we've got to go. So everything is looking good right now. We're going to take it easy, and we unloaded early. There's a possibility that I could get loaded early, but I don't want to make any commitments until I know for sure how things are going to go when we get onto the highway. So let's stop talking about it and let's get into the drive. Okay guys, so one of the problems that we're going to run into is the fires, but the other problem is the high winds. And they were clocking 80 to 100 miles an hour last night, and that with an empty trailer is just a recipe for disaster. So we don't want to have to deal with any of that, but we're going to be dealing with some high winds. We're also going to be dealing with traffic. A lot of people have been displaced. A lot of people were trying to leave the area where the fires were. So we're going to run into a lot of heavy traffic as well. So it's going to be a very interesting day as far as driving up to Hilmar. It's usually not that impactful. Not so much where I feel the need to pull the cameras out and do a training video. But if you look on Google Maps, the route that Google Maps is suggesting that I take, it goes exactly the way that I normally would go. And then if you look where I have an arrow, that is where the Hearst fire supposedly is. So that is a problem because that's super close to the freeway. Now, when we looked at the California 511 website, it didn't say that I-5 was closed there, so I'm thinking that the fire didn't get that close to the freeway to where they're closing off that route. That's a good thing. The bad thing is that is the area where there was those winds that they were talking about, those extremely high winds. The truck doesn't drive well if it's on its side. Let's just put it that way. So if we get up there and things start going a little bit haywire, the winds are supposed to die down to about 40 to 50 miles an hour this afternoon, and we could probably withstand that. But as for right now, everything is just kind of up in the air. So we're just going to have to take our time, and we're going to have to not rush things. Now, I don't know how long the GoPros are going to last, so there may be times where I take a break on the GoPros. because I don't want to kill the batteries like right away, especially when things are not terribly bad. So we're gonna do what we can to try and get you guys the best footage from a driver's perspective going through this area where a lot of people have tragically lost their homes. I'm sure that there have been businesses that have been affected, but we're basically going through the heart of LA, and these fires have not been hitting on the outskirts of the city. These have been actually hitting inside the city. And if you know the area at all, you know that they haven't gotten much rain in a while. They had all of that rain over the past couple years and snow, and all of the reservoirs were getting filled up, so they were getting all this greenery, and then all of a sudden they stopped getting moisture again. And so all of that greenery that was growing up ended up drying up. And if you see any like leaves on the ground or anything like that, everything is just crackles underneath your feet because of how dry it is. So that's a big problem. And when that goes on for a long period of time, it doesn't take much but a single spark to set something like that off. And then you include these winds that they were having yesterday, and that just made the entire city a huge tinderbox just waiting to go. Unfortunately, I have to go through there, and it's something that I haven't been looking forward to. In fact, I didn't even see any smoke until I came up here to San Clemente, and if you look in front of us, I don't know how well the GoPros pick it up, but you can see a lot of darkness on the horizon. That's all just smoke from the fires. And obviously the air quality isn't going to be the best when we're up there either, so we want to get out of there ASAP. We don't want to be just sitting there and having all of that smoky air the entire time that we're up there. So it's all this is just kind of an unknown right now, and you try and do the best that you can to give yourself the most information that you can. I looked on Google Maps, I looked at California 511, I've been listening to the news reports, listening to any sort of road closures, and I really haven't gotten much information as far as winds go, because the winds are really what have gotten me a little bit on edge. Now, there was a story about an area next to the ocean yesterday, to where the fire was coming down next to the freeway, and people were having to abandon their cars and flee on foot. And then they had to bring in bulldozers to move some of the cars that were trapped on the freeway because their owners just left the cars sitting there on the freeway. Now, it wasn't the owner's fault. They were told to abandon their cars. But that's how serious of a situation this is. And when you become a truck driver, this is part of the thing that you have to be aware of. You have to pay attention to the weather, but you also have to pay attention to any sort of natural disaster that may be in your travel path. All right, so we're gonna get onto the freeway. Now it is only 10 o'clock in the morning here, and all of the people that run the city have all been telling people, if you can stay home and work from home, because they don't want you traveling on the freeway because of people that need to get to where they got to go, like first responders or people like me that are truck drivers, where we're trying to basically do our jobs, but mostly for first responders. And a huge hats off to the first responders, the firefighters, the EMTs, the police departments. They are all understaffed for what they're going through right now. None of them saw this. Well, they should have saw it coming because of the weather forecast, but I'm sure they didn't know that it was going to be as bad as it is, because there's 3 or 4 different fires that are going on right now. Okay guys, so we've made it into the LA area, and I only have 2 GoPros running right now. I'm guessing the third one, the battery died already, but it is what it is. So, as you can see, the smoke is just everywhere. You can't even see the skyline from the highway. So that's fun. The winds have already picked up. In fact, there were a few times where I had to clinch the steering wheel a little bit because the gusts were just really, really strong. So we are in the LA area proper, and the winds are just blowing the smoke right down into the city from the hills. Now, none of these fires are contained at all. All of them are at 0% containment right now. One of the fires, they said, have about 10,000 acres already consumed, and that's just from between today and yesterday. So that's a lot. Now, they did say for people to stay home, to try and work from home, and to avoid unnecessary travel. Nobody has actually heeded that. Everybody seems to be out driving today, just like they do every other day of the week. So that also makes things fun. Now, if you can, hopefully the camera on the driver's side is getting the skyline over there of the city of Los Angeles. It is just inundated with smoke. And obviously in front there's a lot of smoke as well, but normally you could see the skyline rather clearly, but not today, because today is a special day where it gets to be covered in smoke. You can see all the traffic going southbound on I-5. It's just bumper to bumper. As of right now, traffic on this side of the highway isn't too bad. And as I said, as of right now, things can change. If I can get into an area that's safe to change out the GoPro battery on the other side, I'll do that. We're not even to the part where things are really going to get hairy, because we're not in the actual windy part of this, because all of this is blocking the winds once we get up past Castaic and before we hit the Grapevine, that's when things are all going to come together. That's when you have the winds, you have the dryness. Obviously, the fire is where I showed you earlier today, and I can't remember. I think it was San Fernando. Pretty sure that's what I said. So obviously the fires are pretty much ending at that point, but we still have the winds. Oh, and you can smell the smoke. I mean, it comes in really, really well. And they do have a air quality alert today, obviously. You don't want to be outside for prolonged periods of time out in the smoke. I learned that the hard way flying drones with Dan. I think that was 2 years ago up in Montana. But lost my voice after that trip.
4 left lanes.
I mean, I don't think that there's as much traffic as there would be on a Wednesday afternoon at 11. It just seems like it's flowing rather smoothly. I haven't hit any major traffic snarls, so maybe a lot of people are heeding the warning to stay home, but there just seems to be a lot of traffic that might be unnecessary as of right now. I still remember back during 2020 when I was driving through the LA area and everybody was told to stay home, and everybody actually did. That it was really nice because you could drive through here and not see another car for miles and miles and miles. It made it really easy to get through. So now we are actually getting out of the smoke. Okay. At least that's the way that it looks like right now. It looks like we're coming out of it. So I can see smoke billowing out of the hills over here on my driver's side. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that with the GoPro, especially right this second. Or if the GoPro's even filming right now. I guess we'll have to wait and see once we get up to it. But yeah, that smoke is just billowing out of the hills over there. It is not that far from where we are at. That is one big fire. And we've gotten at least into the 40-mile-an-hour winds right now. Okay, so right here, if the GoPro is running, it should be catching the smoke coming out of the hills over there, and I'll zoom in and see if we can see it.
Continue on I-5.
But that's an amazing, amazing view. Okay guys, so we are in Castaic right now. We're getting ready to go up the hill. And so far, I think we've been getting right around 40 mile an hour winds, between 30 and 40. The other thing that I never even thought of is the fact that these winds are really going to test that mount on the deer bumper on the front of the truck. I really wish you could hear the sound of the wind in the truck, but then you're not going to be able to hear me, so that's probably not going to be ideal. Now, I don't know how much the GoPros are going to film because we still have 43 miles, and I'm not going to give you the full 43-mile drive. Otherwise, this would be an hour-and-a-half long video. But I am going to capture any times that I can catch if the winds really start whipping up. Now, on a regular day, when you get to the top of this hill, it's really windy. All the way to the can't even talk English. Not my not my best language. Any other languages I'm bad with too. But until we get down to the grapevine, where we're going to pull off and close out this video, because by then we'll be out of the danger area. The winds are going to be tough. So you're going to have to buckle up, because it's going to be an interesting drive. I don't want to jinx myself, but as of right now, I've had much stronger winds going through here. If it can stay like this, I will be a happy man. But if you look at the hills, all you can see is dried vegetation. And the air is dry, there's not much humidity in the air. The wind's blowing. This is all just one big tinderbox. If things get hairy and out of control, I'll come back to you, but I guess I'll show you the rest of the driving footage back to the truck wash, and then we'll close out this video when I get there, unless something happens in between now and then. So stay with me. All right, guys, we're here at the Blue Beacon. Let's go see if that camera stayed on the front. Well, we still have our camera. I know the battery died on the way here. But hey, at least it made it, right? We didn't hit nearly as much of a wind problem as I thought we were gonna have, and that's a good thing. And we made it here safely, and that's all that counts. So the one thing that you want to do if you're going to run into a situation like I did today was you want to check with Google Maps, you want to check with any of the 511s in that area, and then you just want to take your time and you don't want to take any chances. If I was going to run into any issues with too much wind, I was going to pull off, but I didn't have to do that at this point. So if you appreciate the content and if you appreciate the information that I give you, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified the next time I upload one of my videos to YouTube. But as for now, I appreciate all of you for coming along for this ride with me, and we'll see you later on down the road. Bye, guys.